Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Right here I have a bunch of old, used batteries. Instead of throwing them all away, I'm going to pick out 2 suitable ones to repurpose for my DIY antenna project today. Once I've selected 2 good ones, I use a wooden clamp to hold the battery firmly upright. This trick keeps it steady so it won't roll around while soldering. Next, I use a soldering iron and a thin strip of solder wire to melt a small solder point right onto the top terminal of both batteries. Then I flip it over and melt another solder point on the opposite terminal. Next, I use the wooden clamp again to hold the second battery firmly in place. Here, I use a short piece of red wire to connect the 2 negative terminals together, soldering each end securely to its respective pole. Every like and subscription motivates me to create more creative DIY projects. Thank you so much for your support. Afterwards, I flip both batteries around to solder the remaining 2 terminals. This time, I use a blue wire and follow the exact same process. Once soldering is complete, I neat up the wiring. This battery setup will serve as the signal receiver for our antenna. Moving on to the next step, I'll repurpose an old paintbrush as the mounting pole. First, I use pliers to strip away all the bristles, keeping only the wooden handle. Next, I apply some hot glue to the top of the handle and mount the battery unit securely in place. Next, I'll use a female power plug as the output connector for the antenna. First, I solder the blue wire from the plug to the exact battery terminal connected to the blue wire. Next, I solder the remaining red wire to the terminal connected to the red wire. Matching the colors ensures correct polarity, preventing short circuits or signal degradation. Next, I apply hot glue to the bottom of the wooden handle and mount the plug securely there. Moving on to the next step, I'll use a single wall outlet as an adapter to bridge the signal cable with the antenna. First, I disassemble the outer plastic casing of the outlet. Then, I prepare a section of coaxial cable to transmit the signal from the antenna to the TV. I strip off the outer insulation to expose the inner core and shielding mesh, splitting the cable head into two separate bundles. This prepares the wires for clean terminal mounting, reducing signal interference and ensuring a stable transmission. Next, I attach these two wire groups to the metal contact terminals inside the outlet and tighten the screws firmly with a screwdriver. Once wired up, I reassemble the outlet cover. For the opposite end of the signal cable, I strip the outer insulation and split the wires into two sections in the exact same manner. Next, I install a standard TV RF connector onto this prepared end. I insert the copper core and shielding mesh into their respective contact terminals inside the connector. Using a dedicated TV plug ensures a stable signal transmission while allowing you to conveniently plug the cable directly into the RF antenna port on the back of the TV without any messy manual wiring. Finally, I plug the antenna's connector into the outlet on the signal cable to complete the entire assembly. At this point, our DIY antenna made from repurposed batteries is fully built and ready for action. Now, I'm going to test it in real-world conditions to see how effective it really is. First, I'll switch to a TV channel to check the signal reception without connecting the antenna. As you can see, without the antenna connected, the TV only displays the message, no signal. Next, I'll connect the DIY antenna to the signal input on the back of the TV for the actual test. And here is the result. Almost immediately after connecting the antenna, the TV channels begin to appear. The picture is clear, the colors remain stable, and there are no continuous signal interruptions. To make the test more convincing, I'll perform one more experiment. I disconnect the antenna from the TV and observe the signal changes. As soon as the antenna is unplugged, the screen instantly returns to the no signal message. All channels disappear, confirming that the signal truly came from this homemade antenna. Now, I'll reconnect the antenna once again. As you can see, within just a few seconds, the channels reappear and continue working normally. If you enjoyed this project or found it helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support motivates me to continue creating more repair, recycling, and DIY projects in the future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.